Welcome in, guys. We're inside the Pablo Lou. Like we start every podcast, we start with a Bible verse, and today's verse comes from the book of Job 1:21, and the Word of God states, "Always be humble, because what God gives, He can also take." Job 1:21. And with that being said, I'm with
Lena Gonzales, and I am a ring announcer.
Nice. Well, thank you for coming in, Lena. We met at Fight for the Fallen.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Thank you for having me.
No, for sure. Thank you for coming on. Kind of just break that down. How did ring announcing? How did you become like? Kind of break down your.
It was just an open opportunity. I had met somebody who thought I was really, really funny because I do have a spunky personality. And so he thought I was funny, so he was tagging some comedians on social media to a post that I had done that was funny. And so one comedian added me, and so I did reach out to him saying, "Hey, I'm in college. I see that you're a comedian. I'm kind of looking for a way to get into like either radio or comedy or something, different." And so we had a conversation where we were talking instead of typing. We started, how you can do the voice messages over Messenger and stuff like that. So once he heard my voice, he was like, "Hey, you have a really good voice. Have you ever tried ring announcing?" And I was like, "I've never even heard of it. How do you do that?" So he said, "We have a pro wrestling event. It's going down Hanford, California, which is where I'm born and raised."
Okay.
And he was like, "There's no way you can be from Hanford. We've been looking for a female ring announcer for years, and there's no way you can be from Hanford." I'm like, "Dude, born and raised." And so, like I said, I didn't know anything about wrestling or anything about ring announcing, but I took a chance on myself. I was already at the lowest in my life at that point, and I figured there was nothing I can lose. So I went ahead and did it. I took the gig. I packed the house out with my family. I embarrassed myself in front of them. But I had a lot of fun, and I thought, maybe I can be really good with this. And so I went on with it, and I dedicated the next 8.5 years to becoming a ring announcer. And opportunity led to opportunities, and open doors just kept opening. And I spent about 6 years in wrestling. And then, when I told God I'm ready to do more, God opened doors where I ended up in MMA and now boxing. But
Nice.
Boxing is where I really do enjoy ring announcing. Yeah.
And you
as a
say
trainer.
MMA, I believe, and is it 559?
Yes. Yep. I made my debut with 559 Fights.
Nice. Well, we kind of did our debut. We did Isaiah Walls the other day, and we're gonna do Cisco Hurtado today. So now we have you on. So
Yeah,
it's kind of like it's all working out, right? The way it's been going.
Yeah.
But I know we met you at Fight for the Fallen. We did hear you announce, and I was like, wow, she's, it's that Gonzales with an S, right?
Yes,
we have
sir.
that, And so I was like, man, she's really good.
Thank
and
you.
I know we were busy, right? Everyone was kind of, and that was like my first.
Crazy day.
Yeah, no, it was our first real event too, kind of. Helping out Rick and Eulalio and some of the guys, Ernie that helped us out. And thank you guys, by the way. It was a great event, right? And it was just really like everything they do over there. I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. Hopefully they invite us back for Fight for the Fallen
I'm
5.
sure you will.
And no, like everything was just, like I said, when we were there, we were just taking everything all in, right?
Yeah.
And then at the time, I really didn't get to introduce myself really to you cordially. So
Right.
then I reached out to you on social media.
Yes.
The power of social media.
Yeah, I
right?
love it.
And then so you were like, yeah, let's do it, And then kind of like now what we do is we do the pre-interviews, right? And then we come in here. I mean, I'm telling you guys, if we would have had the camera on in there, you guys would have been like, what? We were already flowing. It was so natural.
Yeah, this is part 2. No.
Right? Yeah, no, really.
Yeah.
I think it's because, like you said, we might be cousins.
Yeah, we
I
could
don't
be.
know,
My family is they're from Fresno.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
My bloodline is.
You just never know, right? There's always people out there. And then the Gonzales with the S is unique. A lot of people have the Z.
Yep. And every time I go places, they're like, "I can't find you." I'm like, "Look for Gonzales with an S." And they're like,
sure.
"Oh, you're all the way at the top." Of course. But funny thing is, I got adopted into the Gonzaleses with an S. Not me, but my grandpa did.
Okay.
Our original last name is Angel.
Really?
So I would have been Lena Angel. But since we got adopted by family member, of course, last name with Gonzales with an S, and that's how we started.
We could do Lena Angel Gonzales. Hey, that's nice.
Yep,
That's a good little ringtone to it.
Well, I do have a modeling page that goes by Angel Louise.
Really? Okay.
Louise is my middle name, and Angel is my original. So that's why I kind of separate, the diva from the chill person.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Woman of many personalities,
Yes,
right? And then I heard you say comedy. So, like, do you ever want to pursue that? Is that
I
something
don't know. I don't know. I think that would have to be something, because I'm just naturally funny. I think it's
Yeah.
just, when you grow up in life and, you've really been handed some crazy cards, like, you just kind of develop a really good sense of humor. And so I don't take things I'm a very serious person, but I don't take things personal or serious that other people, I take my life serious, but other stuff I don't. And I think that's kind of where my sense of humor comes in.
Yeah.
But I never pursued comedy with it, but people who know me think I'm hilarious. But I think if I keep doing this ring announcing stuff and keep making, friends everywhere I go, you never know. Just
Yeah.
might have a comedy show on Netflix one day. You never
You
know.
never know.
You just
Exactly.
never
We'll
know.
manifest it right now.
Yeah, yeah,
right?
and that could be at the end of my career when I'm ready to chill.
For sure.
I'm just giving my payday.
So right now, like kind of like introducing yourself. So like
Mm-hmm.
kind of getting to us getting to know you, right? Because I mean, kind of break it down to us. So you grew up in Hanford, kind of like, what do you know that ring announcing is something that you do kind of on the side right now, right?
Yes.
So what do you do for like work right now?
For work, I am a sports coach.
Okay.
For elementary students, I do work out in Visalia.
Okay. And when you say sports coach, can you kind of like?
So what we do is kind of like an after-school program,
Oh, okay.
but it's we do have tournaments. So every 6 weeks we switch our sports. So of course we're going to start off with flag football, and then we train for a tournament at the end of the 6 weeks, and then we have a tournament which is like so fun. We compete against all the schools in Visalia,
Okay.
and everybody wants to. We all want to be the coach who has the students that took it home. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So after that 6 weeks, we'll go into a next one, which I believe soccer, and then basketball, which is my favorite. I love basketball. That's where I shine as a coach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but dealing with kids could be a little challenging.
Yeah.
But it's so rewarding, and especially because like this is my opportunity to give back and to clock in and do God's work. So with these kids, when they're having a rough time or when they're a little low on self-esteem, I jump in. I go by Coach Mac, by the way.
Coach Mac?
Yes, because
Got
my
it.
high school name was Lena Mac. So anybody who's watching from Hanford, or
There you go.
they know me as Lena Mac.
All right. Shout
And
out
I
Coach
do-
Mac.
Yeah, Coach Mac right there. And I do hide my name because, the power of social media, like you
Yeah,
said, the kids
no,
will find me. They
for
found
sure.
my TikTok, and I'm like, you guys are crazy. So I had to block them for my safety.
What's the I know you said elementary. What's the range though? What's the age range? Or-
But all of it. Every Monday, Tuesday, we have different schedules. So there's days where I have kindergarten to third, and then
Okay.
the rest I have 4 through 6.
Oh, nice.
So
So
there's
yeah,
no
it could
kid
be
I miss.
any day could be a different day for you.
Yeah,
You
and
don't
I
know.
get to put, I get to plant those healthy seeds in all those brains. And I've had some kids whose fathers passed away in between, working and stuff like that, and where they were having a rough time, and I was able to step in and comfort them and tell them, words of encouragement and stuff like that. And I've had young girls who are having problems, and God's been so good. I've been able to actually step in there and be a part of their life in a positive way.
Yeah.
And so, where they're happy to see us after school, they see us. And I mean, I work during the day too in recess with them, but after school is when I get that personal.
That
One-on-one
one-on-one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
because this year I'm going to be at a smaller school,
Okay.
but last year I was at a bigger school. So I don't know how it's going to go, but I do like having a lot more kids. I have enough energy for all of them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I do. I love them. And I do have my own kid. I'm a single mom. So she's 16. So these kids, they try to get a little slick and stuff like that. But I'm like, man, I've seen it all before. There ain't nothing you can do to surprise me.
Yeah, no, hey,
Yeah.
trust me, we talked a little bit. I have a 16-year-old,
Yep,
and
yep.
same, right? Like, hey, I already know all the tricks. I
Yep.
already know this, I know that, and they're not. They think they're gonna get one over on us.
Yeah.
and
And I'll let them think that.
Yeah, we have to let them think that because, like I said, they're still young. They're gonna grow. They're gonna,
Yeah. And you know what? One thing I've learned working with a lot more kids versus just having mine is that you have to learn how to pick and choose those battles. Like, not everything's something to get them grounded over. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you got to be a little lenient, got to give them a little trust, got to give them a little string to mess up with and stuff like that. And you always got to correct it. But I tell them, as long as you do something that you can fix, you'll be all right.
that
As long
is
as
so
you
true.
don't do something that, it's too far out where you're in jail and we can't turn back time, then we'll be okay.
Well, see, I can speak on that. So I actually worked in a jail for 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
and what you're doing is actually great because I could tell you right now, like a lot of the times when I would talk to the different, inmates, and age could range from the 18-year-olds to even like an early 22, 23-year-old. And it's always the same thing, most times it's like, I don't want to say a specific parent, but it's always, something to do with parents,
Childhood trauma.
The way they grew up, like you said, just the environment they're in. They didn't really have no one to mentor them or to just kind of, like you said, be there for them, kind of give them advice, right? And I think for a little while, I thought I was going to be going to teaching, and I think that at the end of the day with this podcast, I think as I'm bringing on different people, right? People like I'm bringing on fighters now. I'm bringing on ring announcers. Thank you once again for coming on. I brought on inmate. I brought on COs. I'm hopefully we'll see, but a lady from NASA. Yeah,
Whoa.
she's gonna come on talk about that.
Cool.
A Southwest pilot, a pilot from Southwest. He's gonna come on and talk about how he became a pilot, him being in the
really
air.
cool.
Yeah, and so kind of gives a different variety, right, of the podcast. Is like legitly, I try to Central Valley talent.
Yes.
Right, but right now for some reason we're being blessed, and we're in the fight game, right?
Yeah,
And 559, we're really pleased to work with them, and same thing with like Fight for the Fallen, all these other events and people that have been reaching out to us. I just did in Faribault on Thursday. I did Moms in Prayer,
Cool.
right? And so that's kind of the wild thing about it is the lady that does it, the two Lindas, right?
Oh, cool.
Linda DiFrancesco and Linda Espinosa. Shout out to all the moms in prayer in Fargo right there.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing something amazing. I know it started off in 2020, started off in a little coffee shop,
Yeah.
and they've kind of led it to where they're at now. They do Bible studies every Wednesday from, I believe it's 9 to 10:30.
Oh, cool.
Or
Okay.
8:30 to 10:30. I don't want to mess the times up, but it's for women. Women empowering women. And for some reason, like you said, God. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But as I've come closer to my relationship with the Lord, like He's just putting, like as far as women and with their talent. I mean,
Yes.
like I said, you. Woman of many talents, right? You could either be a comedian, you're doing the ring announcing, right? I believe I even kind of, I'm gonna throw it out there. Even you said you could be, you're boxing or you kind of work out, you do
I
some
would
stuff.
train boxing for fitness.
Yeah.
And that's
Have you ever
I'm a little
considered
good.
possibly boxing?
I don't know.
Or just maybe an amateur?
Maybe if I fix my back problems. I have bad hips and stuff like
I
that.
have a guy.
Yeah.
I have a guy. We'll
You
have to-
do.
I
We did.
do,
Yeah. And I told
He just
you, I do
actually
need
a
that
shout
number.
out to Abel Rico, right? Or
Abel.
Abel Hernandez, but he has Rico.
Abel, hit me up.
Yeah, no, so he works wonders. Like yesterday,
I do
he-
need a good
he did. It's kind of like it's not chiropractor per se,
Okay,
but he does adjustments.
I do need
Yeah,
adjustments. I
and
have
I'm gonna
very
tell
tight
you right
hips.
now, like I went. This is my second time. Today I couldn't even sit down. Like the other day, remember I was telling you, we went school shopping.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And we were at the restaurant real quick for breakfast for starting everything. And I'm telling my wife, I'm like, I feel like there's air in my back.
Oh, I
And
hate that.
I can't sit
feeling.
down. And
Yeah.
I lay down. And then the lady comes up to me. She's like, is everything okay? And I'm like, no, it's not. You guys, it's not the food. It's just my back is not
Yeah.
the best. But yeah, no, he had made the adjustment. And once again,
Yeah.
and it's all people that are like through God. Like it's
Yeah.
all
Yes,
networking.
absolutely.
But we're going to talk about that now.
Beneficial to you and your body.
No, and then the thing is, I think like I never really, coming from the correction side at least, I can say, like, not saying that most correction officers don't take care of themselves, but it's like the fact that we work long
Yeah,
hours.
it's easy to neglect yourself.
And yeah, like you can get out of shape really fast. You're
Yeah.
drinking, energy drinks, coffee, or eating. You're up. We work 16 hours a day sometimes.
Yeah, I
sometimes
know.
18. Sometimes
know.
it's
rough. I
long
don't know how you
days.
do-
And then like us, right? I mean, I can't say Hanford per se, but let's just say like for sure Faribault, Mendota area. If you're working like in Fresno, or say you're working in Kalinga, or you're working in Corcoran, or even Chowchilla, you're traveling.
Yep.
45
And I do travel
minutes.
a lot, so I
Yeah.
totally understand.
So we're always having to go. So imagine you're doing a 16-hour shift, and
Yeah.
then you do a turnaround of 45 minutes. Like I said, that's the 18-hour day. you
Yeah,
know?
I know.
And just through time, you just, like you said, you neglect your body, your health, and things can kind of, and you got to get a hold of
I've
it.
always been active, and hiking is one of my favorite things to do. And
Okay.
so I did go to Yosemite 1 year, and we happened to catch the snowstorm. It wasn't snowing at the end, but it started snowing up there at the 4-mile hike. So it's like across from what is it called? The Rock. I forgot what it's called. But
I'm going to be honest. I
totally
camped my
forgot
whole
too.
life. I never
Big
been to
Sur.
Yosemite.
Is it Big Sur?
Is it Big Sur?
No, I don't think so.
I
But
Well,
but-
you
yeah.
know, I'm gonna tell you right now. When we release the podcast, I better shit
we'll
in the
correct it.
comments. They're
Yeah.
gonna let us know.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thanks in advance.
Yeah.
But I did. I slipped. And I sprained my arm because I tried to catch myself. So that's how I learned to let myself fall.
Yeah.
And I hit my hip, boom, and I slid all the way down on some black ice, all the way down,
Really?
and my hip has never been the same since.
Well,
So-
I'm almost.
so if your
more
guy's
than
hearing
sure.
that, he knows what
I'm
he
gonna,
has.
I'm gonna let him know. I'm gonna link you after. I'll make
I
sure I
would
get you his
love
number,
to,
and I'll
yeah.
tell him like, hey, I got someone, and like I said, this so he can help you out.
Yeah. It
And
would
then
be
kind of go
nice.
from there. Because I don't really know. I don't want to say, oh, he's taking. I don't know, but I will definitely like throw it out there for you, and then we'll go from there. I'll be like, hey. She's almost family, bro. Gonzales with an
Gonzales
S.
with an S.
Yeah, so I'm gonna throw that out there for a couple
Somos
times in the
primos
podcast.
hermanos, nah.
Yeah, for sure. No, but so back to that question then. So, what is your relationship like with the Lord?
Oh,
now that
with
you
God.
bring it.
So, I grew up in church. My grandma and grandpa are from Mexico, so I did grow up Catholic.
Yeah.
I don't know too much of the religion. I think I was too young. My dad passed away Valentine's Day in 1992. So I was born 1990. It was right before I was born May 1990. So I didn't get a chance to turn 2 yet. So my mom had a little bit rough, and I can't blame her.
Yeah.
But she had a rough time healing from that, and so we lived in Utah for about 6 years, which was really cool. I did love that part, but she did get saved when we came back to California, to Hanford, California, in 2003.
Okay.
I think she hit rock bottom with her addiction and everything. So she got saved by the Victory Outreach. I don't know if you've heard that.
Never.
So Victory Outreach is like it's the church that outreaches to the hood, to the depths of the
Yeah.
darkness, to where people are afraid to go because
sure.
you have drug addicts, you have people who have, I don't want to say mental problems, but when you're on the drugs, you can do some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So for 1 year for my birthday, I mean, we kind of lost my mom. Like I said, we never had our dad, so we didn't really have my mom, but she called me on my birthday, and it meant a lot to me because my family had picked us up. They were like, okay, your mom's kind of busy. We're going to make sure you're good. So I was with my family, but it was really hard to separate myself from my mom because it's all I've ever had growing up. Even if we struggled, I'd be in the house with my mom with no light on. But as long as I'm with my mommy, we're okay.
Yeah.
So it was a rough time, but my mom called me on my birthday, 2003, and she said, what do you want for your birthday, mija? And I said, Mom, I want my mom back. I want you saved. So my mom got into the women's home, and she was there for 6 months, and she sobered up, and she has been clean ever since.
Wow.
So
Amazing.
I believe in miracles. I believe in God. I believe in, I spent a lot of time in church with her. I did youth. I used to work at Six Flags. We used to make money for our church. Oh, I loved it. I loved the opportunity that all of it came with. It was a great time growing up, but I got to this age where I started noticing that, people in church aren't no better than people who aren't going to church.
Sure.
I'd hate to say it like that, no
Yeah.
shade to, the churches and stuff like that, but I just felt like, I got to this point where I felt like if you really believe in God, you become Christ-like, right? Christian, Christ-like.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as you're good to people, you make good decisions, you do things on your highest good, you'll always bring, that good karma back to you and stuff like
sure.
that. So I don't go to church anymore, but I am very close to God. Every time I have any kind of issues, I go straight to God. I have tattooed right here, always put God first.
Mm-hmm.
So if a stressful moment comes to me, the first thing I do is I clear everything out and I go have a talk with God. Either I walk or I sit on my patio or I just sit there in my own discomfort and I go straight to God because I didn't want to grow up with addictions. I don't even drink coffee. I'm so
Really?
afraid of being addicted to things. Like I won't even drink coffee. I haven't had an energy drink all summer until I get back to school, of course, or back to work. But I would say that my relationship with God is very strong. It's just different.
Yeah. Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I'm
the
very
same-
humble, very practice my faith. There's nothing that can scare me because you tell me something that it might hurt me for a little bit. I'll be like, we'll see what God has to say. God, show me that with me today, and I'll take it from there.
Yeah.
And I'll listen. God, if you do this, I'll be obedient. If if this is the direction I need to take, put it in my heart, and I'll be obedient. I'll follow. And I've always done that, and I always find comfort in that. And it's actually kind of been able to lower my stress hormones and stuff like that. So I think I'm really close to God.
Yeah, no, I love that, Lena. That's amazing. Like, same thing with me. Like, I didn't really find the Lord. Like, I kind of told you off camera. Like, I didn't find him in a church. I didn't grow up in
Yeah.
a church. I didn't.
Yeah.
But like everybody, like Mexicans. As far as I don't mean that in the worst way. Not all Mexicans, but most
I am
Mexican families grow up Catholic, right?
Yeah.
And so
By default, yeah.
we did grow up. I was in a Catholic church here and there. My family didn't go all the time, but we went once in a while, right? And kind of fell off. Like
Yeah.
every believer, right? You fall, you fall, and
Yeah.
and I don't believe in
We're human.
religion. I believe in relationship, right? And so, as in 2023-ish, so I decided to take a leap of faith, right? I left my job at the sheriff department. I wasn't happy no more. It's time for me to move on. Nothing to do with them, right? It was just me. It was me at the time. I was going through what I was going through, and one day I'm just like really going through it because at the time I did not know the Lord. I did not know His word. I did not know anything about that. So I'm just kind of going through stuff and I'm trying to handle it, and I'm all this amount of pressures on me. And finally, one day, I just almost was ready to say, "Okay, there, I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this
I've
anymore."
been there before.
And I told the Lord, if you're real, come.
Yep.
And
Time to show up.
the one thing I'm gonna drop my favorite Bible verse. I dropped it not on every podcast because I've been I've dropped a few that I haven't been able to say it, but I'd like to try to say it at every podcast. Isaiah 60:22. So when the time is right, I the Lord will make it happen.
Yep.
So it all comes down to timing, right?
Yep.
And
Divine
so
timing.
it's kind of wild because today, I kind of go off of when I do the Bible verses. I go off of, like you said, I get up in the morning and do my walk, and I kind of try to ask God, okay, show me a verse or let me know what you want me to say. He brought in Job today, so I brought that one up, right?
Yep.
And
I liked it.
No,
I
yeah,
liked
it's
it
a
a
good
lot.
one because you have to always remain humble,
Yep.
right?
Absolutely.
And so as I kind of started going through it with Isaiah 60:22, the time is right, and I just thought about timing because at the end of the day, we could always try to do it ourselves, and we can't.
Yeah.
We have to give it to the Lord.
Yep.
And in
Can't control
time,
everything.
and it's not like what I'm learning is the relationship is not like it's not like he's just gonna answer everything.
Yeah.
So hey God, I need this now. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
ready for this. No, it's I look at it like this. Okay, so one door closing is not a rejection. It's God's protection.
Yep.
Maybe it's something bigger for you,
Yep.
right? But in His time. And so right now, you're talking about you being the ring announcer. We went all in on this podcast recently.
Yeah.
We took a leap of faith, and I really truly believe in time, it'll happen.
Yep. I'm a strong believer of taking a bet on yourself.
Yeah. I mean, because in reality, what else do we have?
Yep,
Like you said, I
absolutely.
thought I was at the point okay, I've already lost a great career, great money, great this, right? I was blessed to get into Good Guys Tire and Auto as a manager, making great money, more money than I was making as an officer.
Yeah.
And the thing is, there was no purpose in
Yeah.
it. for
Yep.
me.
Yep. I know
didn't-
exactly. You felt empty.
I
know
get up
exactly
every
what you mean.
day and I was like, I don't want to go to work. And
Yeah.
it wasn't the people. Like the bosses were cool. My crew was great. But it's the fact that like I said, there's no purpose. I know meeting my
Absolutely.
customers. So it's kind of crazy. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to call him my camera guy Matt.
Yeah.
I met him through a customer.
Yeah.
And then it kind of just, like I said, and I believe it's all.
Yep, God will bring people to you. And I believe that too, because when I made the decision to, get higher in my ring announcing and stuff, and I was like, I really want to do boxing, God. Like, I've been having conversations with God like that.
Yeah.
Boxing would be really nice. What do you think? Rick hits me up. Rick
Oh,
Vital.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Hey,
Vital.
we're looking for, ring announcer. I've seen you. I met him at 5 for 9 fights as well.
Okay.
He's like, and we would, maybe you can come. And the thing about the ring announcing game is they always hit you up with, maybe you can try this one out, and if things work out, we can give you other dates, And of course, you don't want to guarantee somebody the position.
For sure.
And you don't like the way they ring announce and stuff like that. So I'm like, yeah, of course. I hear that in the back of my head. I'm like, I'm going to seize this opportunity. Only if he knew. I grew up poor, and the only thing I know how to be rich with is opportunity and growth. And I said, Rick, I'm looking for somewhere I can grow and become better. And if you guys are giving me an opportunity to be a team player, I'm excited for this journey with us. And Rick is so good to us. And like I said, I've lost my dad since I was younger. So I always believe that my dad brings people from the other side that are very beneficial to me, who show respect and who show love. Because a female in the business, it has not been easy. And I have dealt with some crazy stuff. I have heard some crazy stuff. Oh, you want bookings, certain stuff like that. And I'm like, I will stay clear. Big opportunities that I've let go because I didn't sit right with me. But God will bring people like Rick who do nothing but show love and respect to the women on their team. I'm exactly where I need to be.
I love that. So
Yeah.
kind of like, obviously we can touch on to it because, this podcast is really about getting to know you, but also at the same time getting to know like the ring announcing, because I also want to bring on, like, remember I was talking about Laura and the ring girls. I want to bring them on. I know they said they had to do a competition. I was talking about Carol, the cut woman. I want to bring her on.
Yep,
and
I
she
think
can
it's here at
kinda-
5 for 9 fights.
Yeah, so it's kind of like I really want to, like I said, really push the fact that, it's very rare, right?
Yeah.
Women and being in this sport and, what you women have to deal with.
They don't take us too serious sometimes.
And I'm so new to it
Yeah.
that I don't know nobody,
Yeah.
like.
It's okay to be new to things.
Yeah, like no offense, obviously, to Jeremy at 559. I didn't even know that who he was technically. Because I'm so new to it.
Yeah,
No
he
disrespect.
stays so behind the scenes too, though. So
and
he likes
so
that.
like because I remember I was explaining to you like how they kind of reached out, and then it kind of, like you said, opportunity. All right,
Yep.
let's do it. Let's try it.
Open door.
And with me, it's kind of funny. They've always called me the mouthpiece since I was a little boy. Like, it was funny that they're like, man, you wouldn't be quiet, and you just talk.
Oh my God, they used to tell me that too.
Yeah, and
They'll
so-
I'll give you $5 to shut up.
And then
and
look
I'd be
at-
like, I can't do it.
I know, right?
Give me $5.
Well, it's funny because there's a story like we would just go to Pismo as kids, so it was Bass Lake in the winter. In the summer, and then we go to Pismo sometimes, right?
Oh, when it
And
was
so
empty?
One day they sent me with my aunt and my uncle, and my aunt was like, I didn't really talk at this at the time, and I just talked her ear off the whole way to Pismo. She's like, she gets with my grandma, she's like, take him, like he doesn't want to.
Yeah.
He didn't stop talking the
But
whole
can
time.
I ask you something? Because they would tell me that too when I was little.
What was that?
Like, you talk too much. You do this. You do that too much. And so now that when I became ring announcing, that would just play behind my head. And it would just play it. And I'm like, they don't want to hear me talk. Like, I would hold the mic and it would scare me. Like, did that not ever affect you growing up? That I just sat with me for a long time. And when I became a ring announcer, I'm like, I really had to figure out people do want to hear me talk. People do want to hear what I have to say.
Yeah.
And I think it was a gift though, because the one thing that people really like about my ring announcing style is that it's very simple. And it's very laid back. And I don't try to take any attention from anybody inside the ring. I give it all to the fighters because they're the ones that are putting in the work to make that event, for the most part, happen. And so I always make sure that I give honor where honor is due, and I just keep it real simple. It doesn't need to be about me inside the ring. It's never going to be about me inside the ring. But I think because I would always have that in the back of my head, it's not about me. They don't want to hear me. It's just about the fighters. So I've always focused. Hey guys, let's put the attention on the fighters. So as in my career, as I've been growing in my career, people always say, I like Lena because I like having her here because she's simple. She doesn't try to do too much. She doesn't try to take all the attention with an announcement. I don't try to do things loud so I can get a pop from people, which is, people could be like, "Ooh, she's so good."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't try to do none of that. But I had to work through that. That was kind of a little childhood trauma. I had to kind of be like, people do want to hear me. You know what, Tia? You were wrong, Tia.
No, that's so funny.
Keep your $5 again, Tia. Nah.
Yeah, no, that I guess in a way, we all take things differently, right? I never really thought that. Like, I always thought in the back of my am like, if I'm doing a podcast, like, am I gonna talk too much? Like, am I this? Am I that? But
you have to.
yeah, you have to.
You can't have awkward
but
gaps.
it's conversation, right? But no, I didn't ever feel that. That's kind of the first time I've heard that. But I have felt like, in a way, remember I was telling you, like, prior to the way I feel now about what people think of me, I used to always care about what people thought.
Yeah.
Like that's what I did. Like
Yeah,
I was
we all
always
did at
like,
some
oh, I
point.
need to look the way I look, the way this, oh, do I do this? I wonder if I satisfied this. And now, honestly, I think as like you said, I've had this peace now, and as I go forward, like I can care less.
Because you're exactly where you need to
I
be.
just and it's working out. Like I'll do an interview sometimes, and I'll be like, I don't know, right?
It happens.
And then I'll watch it later. I'll be like, oh my god, that was a really good interview.
Oh, yeah,
You know?
I do
Like-
that too. I go home and I beat myself up. I'm like,
Really?
oh, I shouldn't have said that. And I'm like, it's already too late. Stop it, Lena.
Well, I
you're
can tell you like
beating
this.
yourself up.
That was my first time reading you at Fight for the Fallen 4, and you caught my attention with the way
nice.
you do the ring announcing. You do it really well. I was
Oh,
like,
thank you.
who is that? You know?
Yeah, thank
and
you.
then when I noticed that the Gonzales with an S was what caught my attention too, I was like, But
You
then,
guys better put an S on it because I
No.
can't cash a check with a Z.
For
I tried it before.
hey,
You better put that S on there.
yeah, no. And I was just like, wow. And then, like I said, Rick, I'm gonna give Rick his flowers right here. So then you meeting Rick, and he's just been so helpful.
Yes,
right?
I love
Kind
love
of
working with that guy.
giving me like, hey, you need to talk to this guy, or hey, you need to do this, and hey, you need to do that. And Rick, we're gonna get you on a podcast. soon.
Yeah,
We
you
had told
guys
him
definitely
already.
need to get him on here.
And so, and just everybody in general, like I can honestly feel like the route that I'm going, the people that He's put in my place, and I'll even give a little shout out to MLH Media, Michael. Michael's been
Love Mike.
great. He's young.
Yes.
He's
sharp too, though.
Yeah,
I
he's
watched
very
He's like you,
sharp,
though. You're
you know?
sharp too with your
Ah,
brain. I
thank you,
see
thank
you
you. I
guys.
appreciate
Yeah.
that.
I watched him in the ring and I said, man, this guy's got great memory.
Yeah.
But I work with all these kids and all these names. I'm like, how do you guys remember names so easily?
Yeah, well, the thing about me is the crazy part is like, okay, like kind of like how you have your gift that God gave you, right? The voice. We'll call you the voice now.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll have to make it up, but for now, you're the voice, right?
Okay.
And remember, I even told her, I go, maybe we can even get her to do like the intro, and then we can kind of get something. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
I'll
We'll write
do
it
whatever
down.
you guys need
Well,
me
you
to
can
do.
start. What we'll do is we'll brainstorm, start thinking of stuff,
Sure.
right? Now that we have our contacts, I'll be like, hey, and then maybe one
Whenever
day we
you
can
need me,
come
buddy.
in. Yeah, one
Friend
day we
for
can-
life.
One day we can set
Primo
it up.
hermanos for life.
I like it. I like it. And same. Like
Yeah.
the one thing about us too is, like, God has put this on my heart. So I truly believe this, and I mean this the most humble way possible. I believe we're gonna go straight to the top.
Yeah.
And when we do, like, I want to remain humble. Like, I
Yep.
want to still help out. 559, Fight for the Fallen. Big Dog Bare Knuckle.
Yep.
I want to be able to say, hey, I'm giving back to the Valley. I
Yep.
believe this podcast is gonna be about Central Valley talent. We're gonna bring on all these different, and it's not necessarily
That's plenty of content here.
all fighters, right? But just everybody in general.
Yeah,
If
let
they
it
want
be
to come
wholesome.
on, tell a story, right? And then, like I said, I can kind of tell now that I like this is all started. Like we just did this the other day. We pre-interview right in that little room.
Yep,
And then we kind of because the jitters, right?
Yeah,
But I already knew. Our first, I was like, oh no,
Yeah.
this is gonna be.
I've been
gold.
doing this for 8.5
Yeah,
years.
you did. No, you're so just welcoming. Like, and, like you
thank
said, you
you.
just kind of
Yeah.
you have good vibes.
Yeah, I'm a humble person.
Very.
Like, that's why I really like that you picked because I do believe that you can lose everything you worked hard for.
Remember, it wasn't
Yeah.
me. God put that on my
Yeah,
heart. And
that's
so-
why when you earlier he did ask me in part one if I had a verse and I didn't say anything because I was hoping you would find something that would minister to the both of us.
And look, it did, and that's
Yeah.
how good God is. Like
Yep.
I'm telling you, and right now, like not trying to get into like obviously anything bad, but I used to love to smoke weed, and I was doing that, especially after you become an officer. I didn't really like to drink no more because of back to health issues, right?
Yeah.
Family, pre-diabetic, and so alcohol turns to sugar. So I don't
Yes,
have anything
yes.
against people that drink at
Yeah.
all. Some people
No.
could drink and be completely chill, right? I wasn't one of those people, right? I would get drink and it'd get a little different, different personality, right?
Yeah.
And not only that, but the worst, the health benefits it was doing to me was just deteriorating my health.
Oh my God, yeah.
And I felt like when I would smoke, you wouldn't even be able to notice. And I
Yeah.
was feeling some type of way. I always thought I had to smoke prior to come onto the podcast.
Oh yeah.
To be myself, right?
Yeah,
And it's kind of wild because one day it just got put on my heart like, no, you're not going to
Yeah.
smoke no more.
And that's good that you quit. Because
And-
I like having my edibles sometimes before bed.
No, I
gonna
mean,
lie.
and like I said, no judgment on
Yeah.
anybody. That's
Yeah,
the
of
one thing
course.
too, as I'm coming across this, is like, I almost want to tell everybody, like, trust me.
Yeah.
Like, I have no place
Yeah.
to judge you. Like, I've been here, I've done this, I've done that. And at the end of the day, I don't go back and think about it no more. I believe like I've been forgiven by Jesus, and
Yeah.
I just kind of move forward. Like
Yeah.
you said, now I just want to shine that light.
Yep.
Let people know, like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm here. I'll help you the best that I can. I'm willing to. I want to get to know you. Like, I
Yeah.
genuinely want to help
Yeah,
people,
yeah.
especially youth. But mainly, like I said,
Absolutely.
there's a
That's
lot
where
of
it starts.
talent
That's
in
the
our
future.
valley. Yeah, and there's a lot of talent in our valley. There's a lot of women talent in our valley. Like I said, meeting
Yeah,
Laura,
women are
meeting
coming
Carol,
up.
meeting
We're
you.
taking over.
No, you guys really are. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to just sit here and say, like, really are. Like, I
Yep.
really like. I was on for his 16th birthday. We went to Pismo. Okay, and we're in. I don't know why, but I've been trying to convince my wife. I want to get a hot tub. Just kind of hang. I mean, in the valley, obviously, in the summer, 106, you're not gonna get in the hot tub.
Yeah, yeah.
But we have out of the
But it's good for your bones.
12 months, 9 months of it's good. Right,
Yeah.
fall.
That's what I'm saying.
Spring,
It's good enough for
winter.
your bones. I'd be like, sold.
Right?
Well, what color are we getting?
And so we're in the hot tub, and I meet this lady, and she ran she was in charge, like the CEO of a law firm.
Oh.
And she's like, it's so rare, that to be in my position. It's usually men are in this position.
Yeah.
And then that was like, honestly, that was the first time God started ministering me. Like, you're gonna bring on women. You're gonna bring on women that are doing things, and they're gonna tell.
And
their
you're
story.
gonna be successful because you've been really good to me so far. And when women are appreciated where we're at, we will thrive. We will flourish. That's just women for you.
No, I mean, and I'm getting to know it. And I'm gonna be honest, like, kind of coming to Jesus. Like, I'm gonna be 100% honest. I never used to really respect women. I didn't know how, I guess, in a way.
Yeah.
And as
because you mentioned your mom.
yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
Oh,
so
and then
I get it,
well, speaking of our mothers, like, my mother kind of left in my life really young.
Yeah.
And it's kind of I'm really blessed that I'm getting really close to the Lord.
Yeah.
He's brought her back in my life.
Yeah.
We're talking now. I try to explain to her all the time. Like, so I'm gonna tell you, like, Romans chapter 10, Romans 10 verse 9. So that kind of, if you believe in the Lord, everyone out there that doesn't really, they're kind of questioning, read Romans 10 verse 9, and then it will let you know right there. If you can take that verse in, then you've truly accepted Lord as your Lord and Savior. And then that's kind of where it starts.
Yeah.
But then you go Romans 12:2. So Romans 12:2 basically just states, like, renewing the mind daily, right? And so you don't want to go back and think about, okay, hey, you're going to think about your past. You're going to always be upset.
Yeah, can't keep
And
living
then
there.
I'm going to do one more that the Lord has put on my heart, Exodus, right? So when Moses takes out the Israelites out of Egypt, out of slavery, think of it when they all wanted to go back because they're just so used to that. When they're in the wilderness, they don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, because you have to make their own decisions.
And so when you go back, think about, you're going to go back to slavery. You're going to go back to your addiction. You're going to go back to whatever you did, whatever, whatever, because you're comfortable in that, right? But if you think about it, it's slavery.
Yes.
And you're gonna go, so I've learned that, okay, the way I try to do it, Romans 12:2. If I have a thought come up, okay, Romans 12:2. I try to think something, Lord, like, help me get this thought out, right? Because it says, if you try to get the devil out, like, he'll flee from you, right?
Yeah.
Depart from you, or whatever. However, I'm still learning, right? So I'm still kind of, but
you already know the Bible way more than me.
and
I know one verse.
What is it?
It's Psalms. Is it Psalms 23?
Sounds familiar.
The
It's
Lord is
popular.
my shepherd.
Okay,
Yeah. And that was my favorite when I was a kid.
Yeah.
When my mom had us in church as a kid, and because my mom would go to church, and then we,
Well,
she
think
was
of it like
always in
this.
those kind of cycles.
No, for sure. Think of it like this. Like, you know how you told me, like, oh, you have a good memory.
Yeah.
I could tell you this, like, when I worked the floor, right, I would take the roster and I would do it for 2 weeks straight. And I would do, like, all the people doing. And remember, I'm the corporal. I'm the, like, the lead officer on the floor. Usually that's the trainee's job. But I would, like, check everybody's name, so I'd see, like, okay, I'm just using an example, right?
Okay.
So I'll be like, Lena Gonzales, cell 1, right? Or,
I'm the
Louis Gonzales, cell
Cell
2,
'cause
right?
Lena's the one.
Yeah, and then so just kind of go from there, right?
Right.
And every day I do it, boom, 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 boom. So that way in the day room, by the second week, I didn't even need a roster no more.
Yeah.
I'd kind of walk around and be like, okay, boom, that's in cell 8, or, this is Maravilla over here, or this is Gomez over here, or whatever the case, So I feel like with this,
Yeah.
I've really taken on, like, trying to learn the Bible.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I don't like to. I've never been a reader. But I like to hear audio. So I'll hear it multiple times. And the same thing with, like, now, like, kind of coming into the fight game. I don't really like that I'm not prepared.
Yeah.
I don't know too
It's
much.
because you don't know how to be prepared.
Yeah.
You got to learn trial and error.
Yeah.
That's kind of like 8.5 years. I'm able to go to an event and I'm able to take over certain duties because I had to learn that those are the duties that help me prepare when I'm in the ring. So that's what I bring to the table when I come to events and stuff like that. I go straight and talk to my DJs, make sure we have a mic, make sure we have the music, make sure we're looking at the same card, make sure that, there's so many things that I've learned through trial and error that makes me a good ring announcer. So thank you for saying that I have a good voice, but I think it's my work ethic that makes me a great ring announcer.
Oh, no, for sure. Yeah. I mean, obviously, like, you're breaking it down. I'm just telling you because that was the first time I've ever been at an event, and I was just like, you caught my attention because the fight just kind of started.
Yeah.
'Cause everyone was kind of still doing their thing, kind of like, and then you just,
But when
boom,
you're on
you
a
get
time
it.
crunch, yeah.
And then I looked and I was like, what? And then so I was like, okay, like, I never, like I said, that was my second ever fight.
So did you notice, because this is something that I did do, because I do have a mentor.
Okay.
He's a lot older, and he was out in Alaska, so I wasn't able to have our FaceTime call. We usually will set some time out to kind of just study and just brush up and, make sure that we're doing good. But it's always, for years, he kept telling me, when you do main event, it's always nice to have a nice, like how, let's get ready to rumble, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But of course, he's like, you got to have your main event. I said, I just don't have nothing yet, and I don't want to do something to fill in the space because it's going to feel disingenuous, and I don't like that feeling. And I was like, so I'm going to wait for me to find it. But what I did find, so I'm still, God's still, coming through for that.
For sure.
But what I did find, and I used this for Media Day for Fight for the Fallen, and I think I'm going to use it, but I hope you did witness it. is right before, so we'll do the opening. Of course, I have this blueprint in my head where, that's how my mind sees it. We have opening, I'm going to introduce this, and that. But as soon as it's time for those fighters, it's game time. It's fight night. So I hope you caught it, where I'm like, all right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, if you're ready to meet the fighters, let me hear you say, hell yeah. Did you catch that?
I didn't.
Ah, you missed it.
I'm so sorry.
Dude, they love it.
Really?
They love it. As soon as I go, hell yeah, they even copy my hell yeah. They're like, hell yeah. And then introducing from Fresno, California, and I bring the first person in, and it's fight night. So I haven't found my main event, natural one, but I have found, when it's time to get down to, I found my original, I found a way to break through the introductions and all that cool stuff versus fight night.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Where we have to give our honor and.
Do you know when your next event's going to be?
Well, I have a next event going, Beatdown Promotions, which is MMA.
Okay.
Out in SLO, which is the Madonna Inn. I'm so excited. It's going to be my first time there.
Nice.
But we do have Fight for the Fallen October 4th.
Yeah, I heard. I saw that.
Yeah, he's coming in more like closer. I love it. So.
And so when's that one? The Madonna Inn?
The 29th.
29th.
This month.
Okay.
And then the day after that, so where I started with pro wrestling, it's called Lucha Extreme.
Okay.
And it's kind of, you got Lucha and you got American wrestling, and it's kind of, have you heard of Thunder Rosa? No. Okay, Thunder Rosa, she's pretty big out there, AEW and all that stuff. Well, her character was born in Hanford, California.
Really?
Okay, so the person who got me out ring announcing, his name's Lance Cardoza. He brought her out, and she didn't have a gimmick, and he said, paint half her face, because she's Mexican. She's straight from, Mexico. He said, paint half her face, Dia de los Muertos. She went out there, and that character was born in Hanford, California, at the Civic Auditorium, the same place where I was born.
Really? Okay.
So this man is a person of vision. So this is one of my best friends. And
what's his name?
Lance Cardoza.
Lance Cardoza. Okay.
Yeah. So she was born there, and I lost my train of thought. I didn't even know I was going with this.
You were talking about AEW, the lady.
So she's got
Muertos.
So she
was born in Hanford.
Her character was born in Hanford.
That's where you're going.
Yeah. So then he brought me into Hanford. I mean, that's why they were like, "There's no way you're from Hanford." So her character was born in Hanford, and then I got to ring announce for her in Texas.
Okay.
Years after the pandemic, so it was in 2020, but you remember when everything was shut down.
Oh yeah.
So when the pandemic opened, she started an all women's wrestling thing,
Really?
a gimmick called Mission Pro Wrestling.
Okay.
So she wanted all these female ring announcers, and she posted on Facebook, "Is there any female ring announcer that you guys would recommend?" Blah blah blah. People tagged me like crazy. They're like, "You got to get Lena on here. You got to get." And I didn't even feel I was ready for it, but I was like, "Let's take it." So she reached out to Lance Cardoza, and they got me out there. I flew first class to Texas. First time in Texas. Wasn't too crazy about it. It was really hot, and this was in November.
Like 105 hot.
Oh, it was in November, and I put lotion on, and that was the biggest mistake I ever made.
It was still hot in Texas in November.
It was hot. It was humid, and so I got to full circle. I was able to go and meet her.
That's awesome.
Out in Texas, and she still had her gimmick and everything like that, but it took off, and she goes by Thunder Rosa now.
Okay.
And she's been trained by people that I get to hang out with in NorCal, so it's like opportunity after opportunity.
Yeah, because now we'll kind of touch back on the the ring announcing. So I know that we met you at Fight for the Fallen, but kind of I know you because remember we did this part two because we did the pre. So how did you said that you were kind of like in the amateur wrestling, and then you mainly were doing NorCal and Southern Cal, or
yeah, I've done some SoCal.
But can you break that down to us as far as because we haven't brought that up.
So the independent scene is if anybody's out there, true wrestling fan, don't know what that means. The indie scene.
Yeah.
Support independent wrestling. So that's where you have independent promotions. So kind of like 559, Big Dog, that's all independent.
Okay.
But with pro wrestling, it has a different name.
Oh, okay.
So independent scene, so you're going to say, I'm going to go to an indie show, which means you're going to a little small house show. Maybe not small, but it's not WWE.
Yeah.
So when I first became a ring announcer, there wasn't too much opportunity because a lot of it's in NorCal and SoCal. And just to be transparent, I was with Lucha Extreme versus there's another promotion out there that didn't like Lucha Extreme. And they wanted Lucha Extreme because it was supposed to die off and never come back. Well, it came back and it had me. And so when I came back with it, I bring life wherever I go. That's just God's blessing that He's given me. So we were able to, I'm not going to say it was my thing, but I dedicated my work ethic and I came through and I did my part and we were able to pack that house out almost every time. And so, but that was only, you'd have one show in the beginning of the year, in the middle of the year, and the end of the year. And it wasn't enough practice. So I would forget certain things. So January I would do something and I'm like, okay, I'm going to work on this. Here comes the show in May, Cinco de Mayo, Lucha de Mayo. downtown Fresno. We would have that downtown Fresno at the Tioga. And I would be like, and those crowds are big because it's a free event. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to ring announce in front of all these people. I'm not used to that. So, I would learn and I'd mess up and I'd be like, okay, I did this good, but then I messed up and I told myself I was going to correct it, blah, 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 blah. So I'd be real hard on myself because I didn't have consistency and I would keep messing up. So after the first year of doing that, I said, you know what, God, I'm ready to go further. I want to do this more. I need more practice. And there's only one way to get practice, and that's take every opportunity. Maybe even $20. They pay me $20. I'm here for opportunity. Like I said, you want to be rich and you want to do this for money, you got to take money out the equation.
Yeah, for sure.
You got to find the skill. And so I drove to Vegas for the first time, met people. Hey, we need a ring announcer. You want to come to Vegas? I did it for the experience. So I did. I went to Vegas a few times and made a name for me out there. And then went to Stockton and then met more people. And they're like, hey, we want you here. And you just meet people. And they're like, I want you for the event. We don't have too many female ring announcers, too many good female ring announcers. So they would have me there. And then my name would get down a little bit on SoCal. But I don't take too many gigs out on SoCal because I don't really like the traffic. Oh my God, you would be in. It would take 10 minutes to get somewhere, but it's like 35 minutes just to get there because of the traffic. So if SoCal wants me, they're gonna pay me some good money. I'm sorry, but I'm like, my fee's this much, and if they pay me, I'll go.
Yeah.
Because then at that point, I'm coming back with a whole bunch more money in profit than what I've spent on gas to get there. But I had made my way up to NorCal, and I've made my way up to Washington, to Nevada. My favorite things to do is like headlock on hunger, where we, it's like benefits. And I would always make sure I get my name in those things because those have kind of like Fight for the Fallen. They give back.
Yeah.
So for, headlock on hunger, the goal was to get like $10,000 and feed people for Thanksgiving and the children who go hungry and stuff like that. So it's really nice to be a part of that. And I think we almost met the goals, like 9,000 something. But every year I would volunteer my time, and he would always shoot me some money. But I would tell him if it's for a good cause, I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
And I have friends in the business, so I'll drive up to NorCal with wrestling friends, stay there at their house, and then we would all travel together. And so you just meet this new family. You become a family, and then you get to hear the way they talk, and you get to hear the behind the scenes, and you get to hear how you can be better and how you can not be who they're talking about. And, and that's kind of how you sharpen your skills. I don't go and be metiche, and I don't want to be all gossipy, but I would listen. I am the littlest sister of brothers, so I know how to, I know how to stay behind the scenes and kind of just listen and digest and take it from there. I don't have to be loud. I don't have to be seen. So that's kind of what helped sharpen my skills. When we traveled to Washington or Oregon, oh my God, driving from here to Sacramento was already, 4.5 hours, then another 10 hours to get the longest day of my life. That's why I'm not afraid of hard work, because you travel, you get there, and then you got to get ready for the show.
Yeah.
And then, you go do your show, and then they're like, hey, well, you guys are here. Come stop at this show. And then we're going another hour out, 2 hours out to go work another show because we got to make, we got to seize the opportunity.
Yeah.
And then we come back, and that's why I said, God, this has been really fun, but I think I want to go somewhere where, where I kind of feel like I belong in a way. Not that I don't belong in wrestling, but I never wanted to be in WWE. I never wanted to be big in the independent scene. I just wanted to be professional.
Yeah.
And so I do, I can be funny, I can be very welcoming, but I do have a very serious side, and I can be pretty tough.
Okay.
And I can be, I could be a little chola, you know what I mean? I do have that side of me where I will stand up for myself, and I'm not afraid to cuss somebody out if I have to cuss them out. Yeah. But I do have that side.
You kind of did it a little bit to me right now.
Did I?
Yeah, a little
Sorry,
bit.
I took natural.
When you were, you said, well, not just to voice my work ethic. Ooh,
Yeah.
okay, I like that. That's where the S came out. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
No, but it's true. And like I said, I can kind of see it now. You can see the passion. You can see that you're, and it's really admirable because at the end of the day, people don't understand that. Like I tell some people oh, you're not gonna outwork me. And but if you met
that lights
me,
a fire up my butt for
but
sure.
you met me like in the past, they try to think of the version how I used to be. Well, okay, I didn't want to. I wasn't my best self.
Yeah.
My mind wasn't as clear, right? I didn't have the Lord in my life. I didn't have the discipline. I didn't have the obedience. I didn't have none of this.
Yeah.
I have it now.
I'm glad you do though.
And I'm saying right now, I'm
you're
boots on
able
the
to fix
ground.
it.
I'm ready to rock and roll. And I feel like I don't want people to take advantage because I'm gonna take every opportunity that comes for sure. But like you said, after a while, we are in this too. It's not
as long as your heart's good, nobody can play you. They can only play themselves.
That's true.
Okay.
That's
so
true.
if you're going over there with intentions to grow and figure it out, then you're already right with God. You're already in alignment with God. And if they have other intentions, that's their karma with God. That's how I believe. That's why I believe in Christ.
That's so true. I like that.
It's like, okay, you can do that to me, but you're not doing that to me. You're doing it to yourself because I'm protected. And at the end of the day, I'm going to go to God and ask for him for direction. It's so, I already have my alignment. I'm already in direct contact. I'm figured out. Don't worry about me.
Yeah.
But
Kinda
versus the other way,
same. Yeah,
I
yeah.
told him, you can't play me. You can only play yourself.
Yeah.
I grew up, I haven't always been making the best decisions, but I strongly believe as long as I'm right with God, then there's nothing that really can come against me.
That is so true. And I feel like the same. Like, I think everyone thinks of, and I say everyone just because when people know us, right? And they think of, I guarantee most people are going to be like, and I told this the other day on a podcast. Actually, my son's, Lou, let me see the real fast. We did this book right here. So Daniel Yabrowski, he came on. This was my coworker.
Sorry, I'm a little blind.
No, you're good. And he was a Marine.
Inherited silence.
And so he kind of came on, and we're talking about like
breaking the cycle.
Yeah,
that's
so
right.
If you want to read it, I'll let you.
I love to read. I was editor-in-chief of my college school days.
Yeah, no. And so when he were talking about it, he's like, people are gonna think of him as the old version of himself, and they're gonna think of like, oh, they think they know us, and I said that version's like dead.
Yeah.
That guy is no longer here. This a new.
We're supposed to grow and evolve.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're
I
supposed
think
to
as we
become better.
kind of like we get older, like you said, we're gonna learn through our mistakes,
Yep.
right? We're actually raising young Lenas and young Louis and young, we have our 16-year-olds and they're kind of going through their path. And I think the beauty of our mistakes is we could let them know, like, hey, I've walked that path. I understand this.
That's right. Tell them as long as you can go back and fix it, you're okay.
Yeah. And I look at it like this, like with like I've been watching like with the one thing about, I guess you could say I was never on social media. So when we used to share a TikTok with my wife, and then one day when
I love TikTok.
I do too. It has good videos.
I love it. It's so informative.
And so it's kind of, it all started, one day I started a TikTok for good guys. So I had the idea, like I started recording all my interactions with customers because it was so different. Everybody was different, right? I could just imagine, well, me and you would how we would interact, right?
And I would be like this too if I was there.
And so, and then people didn't, if they didn't notice it, it was so raw, real, and authentic.
Yeah.
But if they noticed the camera, then they're like,
yeah, I know. Everybody gets shy.
But, and so I was like, okay, that's how I started, right? So when I started my TikTok, people were like, so I was a good guy's TikTok, right? And everyone was hitting me up like, hey, Louis, what's up, bro? And, coming at me. And I was like, because I had been like, when I left the jail, I just kind of like disappeared. And then when I reemerged on social media, like I had old coworkers, old friends hitting me up. And then I was like, well, I just want this to be about my job.
Yeah.
So I was like, I told my wife, I'm going to make a TikTok for myself.
Yep.
And then initially I started coming on and I was just like, being obedient to the Lord, I'm getting to know him, right? And I always just come on and do a video. Yeah. Like a random video about, I think one day I called it story time.
Oh, cool.
And then I did a conversation about when I had an inmate come in. And I just described it. Like he came in, he was a young bulldog, and he was like, I'm not going to go to this housing unit. And I'm like, okay, and you're going to go. And he's like, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to crack it off if I go. And I'm like, okay, what do you mean? He's like, and I always kind of like was unique to me is like, and there's a lot of politics in this, so I'm not going to like touch on it too hard, but he's Mexican, saying, I don't program with Mexicans. You're Mexican. But I think he just wanted to go, he's trying to manipulate his housing. Yeah. And so most times when an inmate's like, oh, I'm going to go crack it off, they most times are not. Yeah. But in this sense, he did. Okay. And so I ended up telling the story, like he gets there, cracks it off, and it was like, so that story kind of like picked up. Yeah. And then through time, people were like, hey, you should tell this story. Hey, tell this. Hey, talk about this. And then it kind of led to that, where then one day I was like, do a podcast. Yeah. And I had, the idea came in like 2019. But it just, in God's time. Yep. And then and I thought it was going to be, I was going to talk about, being a correction officer and talking about the inmates and the this and that, but that can only go so far. Yep. I was just going to say, it's good to be wholesome because you could attract, you're going to have a story for everybody. And I would have never in a million years would have imagined I'm going to be doing podcasts with, ring announcers and fighters.
Yeah, I never thought I was going to be a ring announcer either.
Yeah, and it's kind of, it's actually been really cool because you get to hear, like, genuinely you get to hear everybody's story. Yeah. And you really get to see.
Be inspired. Yeah. I know that feeling when you're inspired. You wake up in the morning and it's just different. Yeah. You're ready. Your feet hit the ground and you're gone.
You know what's kind of crazy? Like I get up now and it's like I just have a purpose.
Yes, that's like, when I
get up and I look at. I'm excited to go walk and work out. I'm excited to come home and then I go on the way over here like. I was like, hey, 2:30. Like, I used at 3. I was like,
hey, dude.
I'm ready to like lock it in. Let's do this.
I was like, all right, let me hurry up.
And then and then like and I meet you. Then the vibe was just so good, right? And then it's like, but what I'm learning as a podcaster, and it's nothing against like some fighters are kind of like they're reserved, right? Yeah. And it's not. I mean, I get it. You're you have to prepare your mind mentally for a different. And I think the beauty of like, at least with me, like I say, I'm a unique type of Christian. I'm a unique type of podcaster because I've been in different areas. I can honestly relate to almost anybody for everything. Yeah. Because like you said your mom.
Yep.
Well, my mom.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
People can say, "Well, I did this." Well, I worked in the jail. I saw it all. Right. I literally, I'm telling you, Lena, I seen everything from death
Yeah, I know.
to
Yeah.
attempted fights, medical emergencies. I mean, it's been wild.
Yeah,
But
and it's such a deep life with no meaning.
No, and
it's like I'm gonna do this forever. I'm gonna have to see this often.
and so that's
like,
like I said, great money, great benefits. Awesome.
yeah. But money don't really matter if you're not happy.
And the thing is, like I try to tell people, it's not like a switch. You're not gonna turn it off and on. Like I'm gonna be real, unless you're gonna go on like a vacation or some time, then you could turn it off. Go on your vacation with your family,
Then
but
you gotta pick it back
you
up.
kind of have it on all because when you're
Yeah.
going to work, I mean, you think about it. You say you have say you're doing it for 5 days a week, right? That's 5 days a week. You're gonna go interact with these people. And I say these people, they're in a different mindset themselves. I know they're human beings,
Yeah, we all
but
have
they're
our own
also in a
perception of
whole different mind. They're a whole different world in there.
Yeah.
Like I was telling me and Daniel were talking about. It's funny how I'm Daniel now, but you're Browski. We're talking about like inmates in there. Like if you're a certain race, you're from a certain area, you're from a certain gang, you can't sit at a certain table.
Yeah.
You can't go in a certain shower. You can't watch a certain TV.
Yep.
And you can't interact with certain people. You
crazy.
can't exchange meals or.
What a life.
It's kind of wild, And honestly, in a way, I'm not trying to say like even officers kind of do that.
Yeah.
Like so, the Asians kind of hang out with the Asians,
Yeah.
And some people trying to hang out with these people.
Yeah.
Like classification unit, like think of it like those are like the popular guys, right? Cert guys are like the athletes, and it's kind of like in bookings, like you're smart, right?
Yeah.
So our records, whatever. I mean, everything kind of changes, and that's in every department, not just mine. I'm only speaking off of mine, but
Yeah.
every agency has their own. The cops, same thing.
Yeah.
know?
The only difference is you guys get to go home. But you adapt to that lifestyle. I mean, but that's a great example. We become our environment.
That is so true.
And that's why I'm glad that you got yourself out and you gave yourself a better life. You're on a higher timeline. Like, thank God for that, because that deserves its
Well,
grace.
you talked about
Yep.
alignment. It's alignment.
Because if you're gonna attract who you are, and you're gonna bring yourself into a community, and if you're not in a good vibe, you're gonna bring yourself with an influence that's not such a good, and that kind of ends in a bad word spiral.
So true.
And that's why I told Rick too. Rick, one thing about me, I'm not saying I'm the most innocent person, but I'm pure. My heart is always pure, and I have pure intentions, and I just want the best for me and my daughter. I just want peaceful life. And I know that because I do believe wholeheartedly that's who I am, that God surrounds me with people who are at peace, who are at pure, who have good intentions, who want to do good in life. And that's how I ended up with the crew of Fight for the Fallen. And, there's all these promotions, and I didn't end up at them. All this opportunity, and even beat down promotions. They're giving me, they're like, hey, you're the ring announcer, you do your thing. We heard that you do your thing. Nobody's stopping you. And I'm like, yes, I love creative freedom. I love being able to do my thing without somebody micromanaging me or bringing down my vibe, or because everywhere I go, I talk to everybody, the fighters, and that's my favorite thing about the fighters. That's why I show up for weigh-ins, because that's my opportunity to be one-on-one with the fighters, and this is my way of giving back. And I give them, they're nervous, of course, it's serious. We're all nervous. Like, bro, I'm going to be out there all night. Like, I know you're going to have, 3 2-minute rounds, but I'm going to be out there all night. I get it. But that's my opportunity to say, hey, don't be nervous. You got this, dude. You've been training so hard for this. You're going to be all right. And then when we go in the ring, like, we'll have a little bit of conversation. We'll converse a little bit. But once we go in the ring, I notice that their shoulders will drop and that they'll kind of disarm themselves as soon as they see me, because I brought comfort to them. I saw them already at weigh-ins. And so now when they see me, they're like, you know what? All I got to do is I've been training for this. She's right. I'm just going to do my thing.
There you go.
And that's why I give them the best announcement at that time. Sometimes I'm not always on cue. But I give them what I can to show them, hey, this is your night. It's all about you. Let me honor you. Let me give honor where honor is due.
I really like that.
And
I'm going to pay attention way more next time now, because now, like,
now you have some correct insight.
Yeah.
And there's probably some ring announcers in here. You're welcome. Now you guys owe me $10. Because I was food for thought.
Yeah, I'll have Matt or whoever edits it. We'll have them put your
There's my cash app. No, I'm just kidding. That's on the house. Yeah. But it does, in my opinion, that's why I am passionate about it. It starts from the beginning. And that's why I'm close to the Paez family. And that's why, Joshua Simpson and all these guys, I get to know them and I build relationships with them. Like Dethrone, they're the first people I got to work with. And now every time we see each other, we hug each other. Like, and you hear me say, I love you. Like, hey, guys, I love you. Hope we have a good day. Like, I genuinely have plenty of love to give.
Sure.
My energy just runs on love. Yeah.
No, I can feel it.
And so, and that's why, like I told Rick Vidal too, like, when you're in that alignment with God, He will surround you in that community, and He will bring you into places kind of like I'm here with you. I could be on any podcast.
That's true.
But God's going to bring me somewhere where we can match, and we can kind of encourage each other and inspire each other. And tomorrow's going to be another day, because yesterday was great. I was on the podcast. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I strongly believe in being who you are and attracting who you are to your circle.
That is, I mean, I'm going to have to touch on that too. The Paez, they were so nice to us.
I love them.
Dethrone, they took us in. You know, Josh Come Up Kid
Yep, the
Simpson.
Come Up
You know,
Kid.
he was cool. He was real cool to us too. You know, he said he would come on the podcast. A lot of people have already like kind of said they're gonna come on the podcast, and like I said, we're gonna get you guys on. If I tell you I'm gonna do it, we're gonna do it.
Right.
It's just right now I'm like going down of. You know, obviously we've been
Yeah.
blessed.
Yeah.
Like I said, if it's of the Lord, I'm telling you.
Yep.
At first, I was like, okay, who am I gonna bring on? I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I'm telling you, it's like my whole schedule
Yeah.
for the month of August is
Yay,
swamped.
that's
Yeah.
good. I know,
And
because we were going to do like 3 weeks out, and then you're like, tomorrow, I said, I don't want to miss out on this.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
when I did that, when I was like, okay, we'll do it this day, right?
Yeah.
I was like, and then I had Cisco today, right? He
Yeah.
works, so he I can't be here till 5:30. So I was like, you know what? Let me squeeze in Lena
Yeah.
before Cisco,
Yeah.
and then we'll knock it out. And then like I said, I got up this morning, did my thing, walked, came in, ate with the
Yeah.
family, got to hang out, really kind of just like trying to zone in. I
Yeah.
try not to like overthink it, because then y'all come in and I won't be myself.
Absolutely.
You know?
I had to learn that in the game too.
And then now that I've now that me and Matt have figured out, okay, we're gonna go in this room, pre-interview it,
Yeah.
and then that come in here, and we've been able to like really do really well on the
Yeah,
podcast.
and you got blessed too. You got yourself a good partner.
No.
Somebody who meets you halfway.
I could tell
Yeah.
you right now, I am super blessed.
Yeah.
When we are gonna, like I said, at the end of the day, the world does run off money, unfortunately, right?
Yes,
So when
I
we
get
start getting paid, I'm gonna make sure like the first thing I'm gonna do is take care of all my guys.
Yeah.
You know, because at the end of the day, like without the people willing to help us, like
Yeah.
it's Saturday.
Yeah.
You know, he just said, hey, let's do it, right?
Yep.
And I'm telling you right now, like the one thing about me is like I learned this in
Yeah.
there, and obviously talking with the Lord, all we have is our word.
Yep.
So I'm telling you, like I'm giving everyone my word. If I told you I'm gonna do a podcast, I promise you we're gonna do it. If I told you I'm gonna take care of you, I promise I'm gonna
Yeah,
do it.
and
you
your
know?
word is everything.
And like I said, because that's where my faith comes in. The Lord has promised me already. Like
Yep.
He's gonna take care of me. He's gonna bless me. It's gonna happen at His time.
Yep.
And that could all, mind you, I could be in 2 years and tell you like, hey, I still haven't, nothing's this. But
Hey, I've been
I
doing
could
this
be,
for 8.5
if
years.
I'm blessed to do this for 8.5 years, and I'm coming in,
Yeah.
I'm as happy as you,
Yep.
talking about my
Yep.
job, then I'm blessed.
Yep.
Beyond measure.
Because you
right?
got to think about, because I would hear wrestlers all the time, and like no shade to them, but on social media, they would post things like, I've been in this business for 20 years. And I'm like, damn, you're still in the independent scene, bro? Come on, like, sorry. I don't, like I said, no shade.
Yeah.
But you have these people who are just so full of ego, and they can't get past that. They block themselves from all these amazing opportunities because they're big in a small town.
They block their own blessings.
This big fish in a small pond, and it's like I always want to be. I feel like I like to be in rooms where I can learn from people. I want to be the small fish because there's always a brain you can pick at, and
sure.
and I want to be not the dumbest person in the room, but if you know what I mean, like the one that has the most to learn.
Well, you've heard that saying, like the loudest one in the room is usually the
And I
weakest.
believe in that. I believe in that because I have a lot of energy, but when you first meet me, I'm a little bit, besides like events and stuff like that, I'll always be behind the scenes. That way I can be like, I think I'm comfortable being who I am with this person and this and that. I'm not afraid of being judged, but I don't allow too many people in my circle. I'm very, very private.
And that's all. I mean, honestly, like, but same with us. Like with me, I'm telling you, like, I've always had friends, as far as, and I've been, like, I look at it now, like the Lord, I've asked him, if they're not for me, remove them.
Yep.
If they're not, if it's this, then get rid of it.
You gotta let them go. You gotta be
And as
obedient.
it started happening, I'm like, oh, wow, like, this is happening.
I hang out with nobody that I grew up with. Like I've dropped friends. I just had to. You just have.
And this is why I feel like I'm so blessed, Lena. Like, I still have my childhood best friend, 5th grade.
Oh, there you go.
Shout out Tito Verdisco.
Hey.
I still got my boy Mario. I met him in high school. I brought on his son, AP. Hey, I got to give him a shout out. He just committed to UC San Diego baseball. He's at Buchanan, his senior year coming up. I have my buddy Jesse Gonzales. I met Oscarine's Kitchen. Shout out Oscar Perez. He's a big time influencer. He came on my podcast. He could have easily said, hey,
Wait, is he on TikTok?
He's on TikTok.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking
that's
about.
my
Yeah,
boy.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go get some meat.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but those guys are still in my circle.
Yeah,
And
and
if
that's
I,
good.
If I missed anybody, I mean, like I said, I've been blessed to say, hey, I'm cool.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, for sure, those 4, like, I'm always gonna say that they're gonna be a part of it.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm blessed. Now I know who's for me, and I think as you get closer to the Lord, like you
It
said,
hurts a little bit to know
discernment.
who's not. Yeah.
No, and it hurts, but then, like I said, like I think when you're healing,
Yeah.
you're kind of like, thank you, Lord.
Absolutely.
Thank you, because you could have gotten hurt worse.
Yeah.
I think.
And you
down
actually feel
road.
the weight of your shoulders being lifted off a little bit. I
Yeah.
believe in heavy eyes. I believe in that the bad energy that people want. Because I had some friends that I grew up with, and even in the ring announcing game, and I would always have these blockages. And when I started dropping them, like my life kept getting better opportunities, and I just didn't have that influence behind me holding me back. Or because I'd have friends who were like, I want to travel with you, and then I'm like, you guys know this is a long work day, and okay, come travel with me, and then they're like rushing me to get out the car. I'm like, dude, I'm at work. Like,
Yeah.
this isn't about you. And so I had to kind of like learn how to say, I need to stop being so nice. Like, I need to stop giving these people opportunities. This is an opportunity this is my job.
Yeah.
Like, I want to do great. I want to travel. The last thing I want is somebody, you're not my girlfriend. I'm already single. Like, let me be peaceful at least.
For sure.
But I had to, and it hurts because I had to make some really big decisions dropping people too that weren't healthy for my environment.
Yeah. And like I said, that's I think that's part of maturity. That's part of growing. That's part of growth, right?
And my baby's being 16. She's my best friend. Like, we've been through so much, and she's stressed me out. She's done what she had to do, but she's my best friend. And we go hiking together now. Because before, she used to hate the stuff I do. But now she's like, Mom, that's really fun. And she sees how,
Where do you hike?
I'll go anywhere. Well, I take her to small hikes up to, like, slow. Like, we'll do small little date nights date days. We'll go do a little hike, drive out to the beach, have some dinner on the beach, and then chill for the rest of the day. But I've taken her out to Yosemite.
Okay.
I will go anywhere. I've been to Palm Springs. I have hiked the highest peak. Palm Springs has the highest peak where you can sit, where you make it all the way to the top, which is like 10,000 feet elevation. I believe it's called San Juancito.
Okay.
And San Juancito Peak. And when you get all the way out there, you can see past Utah, the Nevada, like you can see all the state lines. That's all, and it's cold up there. So it like Palm Springs is hot. I went in the middle of July, and when we went up there, I was like covered in my jacket and stuff like that because I did some research, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna need a jacket. And oh my God, I loved it though. And then I came back down and I drove home, and it's just I love it. I love being active.
Well, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna talk to Oscarine because they invited me to go hiking. Right? Maybe we'll get you out there, and then we can maybe. You can meet all the guys right there. Some of the guys and I'm new to it. Like now that I'm kind of getting in fitness.
Yep.
I'm trying to like learn how to just do different things.
That's where
right?
it starts. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they shout out to Paul Yamas. He was trying to tell me too. He's like, well, it's like baby steps because if they can go to the highest peak, say it's 20 miles.
Yeah.
I'm a first time hiker.
Yeah.
I'm probably not gonna do it again.
It was rough. It was the San Juancito Peak is 10 miles up so it's about 20 miles.
Yeah.
And it is a climb.
I think for me, starting off, that's why I'm trying to get in it right now. I'm doing the three.
Yeah. I think the best thing you can do is go on a treadmill.
Okay.
Go incline.
Oh yeah.
And practice incline. And I mean that's probably why people when they see me go in the ring, they're like, "What the heck? This girl goes in the ring with heels." Bro, I'm a hiker. Yeah. Like I do this all the time.
Well, now we know. Now they know. Now you're telling us. That's the whole point.
I love it. People be like, "Oh my gosh, she's not gonna get in there with the heels." And then they see me come, and every day I'm in and out with those. I've been climbing in and out of rings for 8.5 years. I tell them all the time, I am not new to this. I am true to this.
I like that.
Yeah, and I love wearing my heels. I will not wear shoes.
I am not new to this. I am true to this.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I might have to take that from you.
You can borrow it.
Right, I'll make sure I hashtag it.
For $10. Make sure it's written to Lena Gonzales with an S.
There you go. I got you.
I'm kidding.
No, but speaking of best friends, like, I mean, look at my boy tagged along today.
Yeah.
And I felt like when he was like, I'll go with you.
Yeah. And it starts somewhere.
I was like, that's okay. Let's go. You can see that work. Like, now you can actually see what I'm doing. Like, this is, and I mean, they see it a little bit at the house because I have a podcast room.
Yeah.
But like I was telling you, I'm still going to do podcasts from my home. But the thing is, like,
and you're in Fireball, right?
I'm in Fireball.
Okay, yeah.
But
That's why I kind of live. I like that you're both places.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Well, the thing is, Fresno's mainly for, like I said, if you're out here this way, I can kind of, bring them in Fresno. Obviously, with Matt's schedule, we got to make sure it works out.
Yes.
But I've been blessed. Like I said, beyond measure.
That's how you know God's hands in it, man.
I really...
Everything will fall into alignment, and I tell God all the time, they're like, what are you going to do? If it's meant to be, it will happen so effortlessly, I won't have to lift a finger to make it happen.
I love that, yeah. 'Cause I remember saying that, like, it's kind of wild because, remember I told you I thought I was going to be a teacher?
Yeah.
The reason I kind of knew I wasn't going to get it, my prayer was different.
Yeah.
So, like, when
it just didn't sit right in your soul.
No, when I prayed about it, I just told God like this, like, you've already blessed me beyond measures. Like, I was a manager making great money. I was like, the podcast was on the rise, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, Lord, because, okay, think about it. If I'm going to do the podcast, like, throughout the week, like, I think just alone this week, I've already done, you're my fifth. This week,
cool.
I'll have Cisco tonight will be my sixth. This month
So you're
alone.
nice and warmed up this week.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. And I feel like right now
consistency. That's all.
I'm getting my rounds in right now, right?
Yep.
And so I looked at it like, when I prayed for it, I was like, look, Lord, if someone else needs to be blessed, bless them.
Yep.
Because you already blessed me.
Yeah.
So in a way, I kind of like had a feeling I wasn't gonna get the opportunity.
And anything that's meant for you is not gonna be taken away.
And the thing is, like the podcast, because you could be any, like, okay, for example, August 18th, we're gonna go interview I won't say it yet, but it'll be dropping soon. We're gonna interview a big boxer.
Yeah.
He's coming up on the come up,
Uh-huh.
and we have to go to him though. And so it's a little,
Go.
So if
Yep.
I was a teacher at the time, I would have had to ask for the time off.
I
and
know.
do this, and so
I love that I'm on summer right now.
yeah, and so I feel like it really allows me to, like you said, go all in and make sure, like I said, build my craft, learn this, and really like commit to this.
When I started ring announcing, 2017, 2016, I had a very big breakup, but I did go to college. And I was going to do accounting. I don't know why I made that decision. I hate counting. But it was just to, get your foot in the door.
Yeah.
And I did my first summer school, and it was a communications class. And I was really good at it. And I was like, dude, this is so cool. Like what if I work in sports or something and I get on TV and I better start losing weight. That was my first thought. I was like, because obviously I'm just first semester in the college, and I was like, and I have time, but the only thing I can control is me, my image. And I didn't know I was going to do any of this kind of stuff. But it was it's from God because it sparked passion. Like there was enlightenment. You know what I mean? Like it just felt right, and I felt excited. And I said, "This is what I'm going to do." So I went and changed my major. But when I went to college, I was on welfare, and I had no backup plan. I had left my full-time job. They were just so toxic, and I had no backup plan. And I said, "You know what, God, I'm sick of this." And I had like this really big awakening. 2015, I had this really great awakening. And I started doing the gym, and then, got into college. And like I said, so I made that time up. But what I really figured out was the fact that I was on welfare. Sure, I didn't have the money, but I had the time. And that's what I needed. I needed more money than I needed time. Being a single mom, you get help as long as you use your resources.
Yeah.
And as long as you, utilize them in the right ways. So I had, I got my money for like $554, and I was renting a room from somebody for $400. And I said, I don't care as long as I can make it work. So, with all these money coming in with the scholarships and all that kind of stuff, I would rack it up. I would just sit on it and let it get me where I need to go for the year or whatever the situation was. But I had the time, and I said, I'm not always going to have this time. I need to utilize this time. And so that's how I was able to really make myself convenient to the ring announcing world. And it wasn't easy. My daughter has made big sacrifices. There was times where I couldn't do school clothes. But I'd be like, one big pair of shoes, okay. Or my brother would get her, because my brother's her Nino, and me and my brother are like this. Okay. And so he would get her a pair of shoes, and I'd get at least a couple shirts and a pair of jeans, and she would go to school. And she's always been grateful. Like, if anybody's going to be spoiled the most, and she's already spoiled, but when it's time and I start making that money, that girl, she's going to have whatever she wants. She has been such a humble soul, and she has been my number one supporter. Sometimes I'm like, okay, you're doing too much. I know you lie. Like she's like, Mom, I mean it. You're the best I've ever heard. Like, but I had made big sacrifices. And if you want to make your dreams come true, so for anybody's out there who needs to hear this, stop thinking about the money and start realizing that the time is the most important thing you're going to need. So you can't have them both. You can't have money and the time. You can't have the time with the money. You know what I'm saying? But if you do it right, you'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
Because my dream job would be to travel from, Friday to Sunday, go do a good gig, make a couple G's, come home, chill with my daughter for the rest of the week. She goes to the gym with me. We'll clock in, do that, self-care, and then back and I'd rather work on the weekends. I'm more active on the weekends anyways. And Mondays are kind of like Sundays for me. So I'm already like, God, you see where I'm going with this? Like, I feel like that already fits perfect. And that kind of is my schedule.
Yeah.
And so I do travel, and I would hope to plane soon and all that kind of stuff and do bigger gigs. And I would love to see myself in bigger environments and bigger crowds. And I'm working there. That's why I work so hard. 8.5 years, I haven't given up. I gave myself a year break, kind of, I didn't do big shows, but I'll do little small shows here and there. But I gave myself some time off when I was burnout, because you will get burnout. But, now God has been so good. I have worked all these jobs. I have done everything I could as a single mom. But now I'm in a job where I feel purpose in both areas of my life. So my career and my job. I'm purposeful with the children, and then I go and ring announce, and I'm not just in there with the ring. I'm one-on-one with these fighters for the most part. And I get to meet the little girls that are coming. Those are my favorite. Like the Paez family. They have Emma coming up, their sister, the daughter.
I think she fought today.
Yeah, she did. I think she had, was it a fight or was it a sparring?
Sparring, or I don't know.
I've seen it on his story earlier. Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
see, I did too. But she's been wanting to fight for the Fallen twice.
Oh,
The first
okay.
time, I think she hurt her arm, and the second time, her opponent couldn't make it.
Okay.
So, pobrecita, she's been wanting to go so hard. But I'm like, Emma, keep it up, baby girl. Like, I cannot wait. Somebody's got to lead these females in, and that's where it starts.
Okay.
That little mentality, you got to shape it now.
Yeah, when I talk to Chris and to Mikey and them, I'm going to make sure I'm going to talk and see maybe we can get her on too.
I would love to interview her too, because I wonder if she's willing to, give you a piece of her brain, like, for being so young. And but I work with kids, and these kids are pretty informative too. And a lot of these kids are like, I'm like, oh, you're going to be all right. You're gonna be just fine. There's little kids that just have this natural born light, and I'm like, girl, don't ever, ever let anybody dim that light. You are so precious.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, thank you, Coach Mac. And, I have all these Christmas things, and I have this whole bulletin in my room where it's, I put all these personalized cards that they make me. Coach Mac, you're the best coach, this and that. And I'm like, so every day I mark my calendar, and I'm like motivated.
Rewarding, like you said.
It is.
Your purpose is in two things. And that sounds, I can't just wait till I believe, like I said, even today, like this has already been a blessing. This podcast, I feel
I feel it too.
And so that's when I get home, like I tell my wife, I'll go over it. Go over it. And like, obviously, like us doing it here, we have to put it in, it has to get edited.
Yes.
But I enjoy watching my podcast. I'll sit in my, like, and not because I want to watch me, I want to watch our message. Like, I want to go over like the things.
Yeah, because we're so in the moment, but being able to watch back and you're like,
and
I
can sit there and I enjoy it. I'll sit there and I'll be like, man, and it's kind of like, I kind of go over things, and I'm already putting in my head, like, hey, that's a clip.
Yeah.
This is a clip. Yep. Okay, we can market it this way. We can do, and that's just natural. Like, I never done any of that. Like, I didn't go to communications school. I didn't, go to, I went to college. And the more you do it,
the better you get.
Yeah, and I really, truly believe that. And like you said, but the main thing, like you said, is like waking up with that spark every day.
I love it.
You have to wake up with that spark. And it's like, that's when you know that you're truly doing what you love. And I'm going to bring up one more thing. It's kind of like back to TikTok real fast. So sometimes I'll get messages like like lately, I don't know why, but it's been like, I've been getting messages from all these different, obviously creators, right?
Yeah.
But they're like, you're just going to get paid to exist. You're just going to get paid to exist.
Oh, that's one of my affirmations too.
And so I was like, and I honestly, now I could truly, like, I could see it. Like, it's kind of coming little by little, but you have to have that faith.
Yes. And you can say it when you don't believe it, and you will believe it. I'm big on affirmations. Like I said, I'm very spiritual, so I'm big on astrology.
Because I look at it like this. Like, I used to have one of my addictions was I had bad gambling problem. Like, I was greedy. Yeah, I was very greedy.
How could you be a gambler? I just throw money away like that.
But now, I'm telling you, like, there's zero greed in my heart. Like, I feel like whatever I make, I go off the Bible. So, like, since the Bible says you're supposed to leave an inheritance to your kids.
Yeah.
But in reality, like, I know that the Lord knows what I need. So if I just do that, the rest of it, I want to give back to the youth. I want to help people.
But see, the difference is now you're gambling on yourself.
Oh,
yeah, you're still
okay. Now you're dropping. Are you sure you're a therapist too?
Could be.
I feel like I'm getting
I am Coach Mac.
Yeah, hey, you are right. No, okay.
Everybody that knows me, Mama Mac, Coach Mac. Mac was my school name.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why I like that name too, because it disarms me right away. Because in high school, I learned MAC, M-A-C, Master at Communications. I've always been a little, I be magging up, wrapping up.
There you go, okay.
And that song, Macaframalama? Oh, I used to call myself Lena Macaframalama. It was hilarious. But I liked it. I was like, hey, I've always been pretty good with my words and stuff like that. Like, I've never been shy to speak my heart, and usually, that connects with people. So people would start calling me Lena Mac, and Lena Mac. So I grew up with that name. So when I started in school, when I first started my job, they would say Coach Lena, and thank God they didn't remember my name because I didn't like it. I was like, oh no. And then they would find me on social media. I said, okay, I'm definitely not going by my first name. And so I was like, Coach Mac, that's my name. So nobody knows my real name. I hide it completely. So if a manager comes like, hey, Lena, I'm like, Mac. Like, girl, careful. I watch it. But as soon as I hear Coach Mac, I disarm her. Just, hey, what's up, baby? What can I do for you? Hey, what's up, my love? Like, so that's why I go by Mac.
I like it. No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a good story.
Yeah. You got to learn how to,
Coach Mac.
Coach Mac.
Okay.
And I do. And it was a tough lesson to learn too, because I had friends who just want to be my friends because I can fill them with hope, but it takes energy for me. And they just want that hope for the meanwhile, because they're going to go back as soon as we're done talking. They're going to go back and do the same thing. And then, oh, but Lena, I did this and I did that. And they want me to be like, hey, it's okay. You're human. And I say, you know what, man, learn your mistakes. That's when I had to say, you know what, I could be a little bit of a mean person. It's time to really just be who I am.
Yeah.
And just be a little mean and be like, figure it out. Don't come at me with your problems. I got my own. I'm like, I had to get to that point, dude, because people would use my energy, and they just want, for me to hype them up and do this and that. And it's like, no, like you said, discernment. I'm going to hype people up who deserve it. And I do that when I'm at events. At the 559 fights, you won't ever see a ring announcer at weigh-ins. But you will catch me there every time.
I like that. And I got invited to go to the Fight for the Fallen weigh-ins, but I was telling myself, like, if I get there at 10, it's going to be a whole day, long day.
Boxing, and one thing, those are long days for me.
And
but
so I was
it.
like, at the time, remember, we just, at the time we didn't have babysitting wasn't in line.
I get it, yeah.
I was like, okay, my wife is, like I said, I'm blessed. She's my camera girl out there. So it's like I was like,
It's so good to work together too.
yeah. And I'm gonna be honest, it's been a blessing. Like it's kind of wild because now like if I go somewhere, like, hey, you want to go?
Yeah.
And like today, obviously she's like, well, I didn't want to bring her. My daughter's sick, so she kind of like
Okay.
she'll lose.
Yeah.
Dad, we're ready. Like, you should probably right. I should already came over here. Are we ready to leave? You know.
I would have it right here sitting with me. No.
And you see, like, well, when he said he wanted to come, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
let's go. But I already know he'll chill.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
I'll
he's
be
chilling.
good. And then so yeah, no, it's been a blessing, you know, for
Yeah.
her to come and be around, you know. And then I feel like honestly, when the fighters all meet her or like everyone, all the media, like she's a female, so like,
Yeah.
oh, go ahead, go to the front.
Yep.
And they
Yep.
let her go, and she's taking the pictures, and I
yep.
was like, and I just kind of sit around. Everyone like looks at me, and they're like, well, who are you? I'm like, oh, I'm just right here.
Just
you
a
know?
fan.
Yeah. Well, because
Yep.
I'll tell you one of the like crazier stories. Like, not crazier, but I guess. So I'm sitting next to Virgil Ortiz one day at the July 11th, right? I don't know who he, because and no disrespect, I know who he is now, but
Yeah.
I don't watch
Yeah.
boxing like that.
No,
I don't
it's
really
okay,
watch.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm sitting there and I'm just like, hey, why are you here? You know? And he's just like,
Oh, I'm just
I'm
here to
just
chill.
here. Yeah. And
I
so
love
then
a humble soul.
Then I started talking to him. I'm just like, and we're talking like normal at first. So I was like, oh, and I was like, hey, bro, I got invited to this event, and I don't even know what I'm doing, you know. And he's like, you'll be all right, you know. And then I'm like, and I was like, kind of like waiting, and then I just started seeing people line up.
To see him?
Well, they're trying to get his autograph,
I'm
trying to get
dead.
pictures, and I'm like, and then well, the promoter from the event, they calls him up, and then he gives him a, you know, now he breaks him down who he is, and I'm just like, and then I look later, I'm like, dude, this guy's
Yeah.
like, you know,
But you know what? I do the same thing. I kind of don't study a lot because then you start feeling like people are larger than life, and then it kind of makes you feel a little small. But I think, including myself, people like to be treated normal.
like they're regular people.
Yeah, like normal.
Yeah.
Regular, and that's always been one of my gifts. I treat everybody like when I work at the school, I treat the principal like just one of my friends. All the principals love me. They all want me to be there with they're like, hey, apply. We want you here on the campus. I actually enjoy being a coach.
Yeah.
I actually enjoy being able to go to different schools, and I enjoy doing
Well,
what I
it
do.
sounds like you have that purpose, and remember, like you say, you go to God, your alignment. So you know that right there, that's where God wants
Yep, and I feel resistance when they tell me that, so that's how you know that's out of alignment. So you know when you feel the flow, you know you're good to go.
you. And then see the same thing like with my podcast. Like I feel like I was just, you know, getting them out there, and it's not about like quantity to me, it's about quality now.
Yep.
You know, and I want to make sure that I'm getting the message out, because I mean, obviously it's Central Valley talent.
Yep.
But I want to make sure that like we're sitting down and people are genuinely like getting something out of it.
Yeah.
You know, like the other day we in Yabrowski, like even if we get one person, and
Yeah.
I always said that even if when I first started doing like I don't like to do lives no more.
Yeah.
But when I started doing lives and I'm doing podcasts, I'm checking the views and I'm checking like who's on, and now it's like
Those
honestly,
numbers will mess you up.
I set it and forget it. Gets pushed out, man. Because remember, I already watched it,
Yeah.
so I'm not gonna rewatch it. I'm not gonna go back there. Hey, did you see how many
Yeah.
views this person got? I was like, I didn't. No, I don't pay attention no more, because I just know that I already watched it. I like the quality of it, and obviously
Yeah.
I was good enough to put it out.
Yep.
So if people like it, they like it.
Yeah.
You know, whoever it reaches, it reaches. You know, the one thing I will say, and from feedback from, I guess you can say like the followers, right?
Yeah.
They're like, hey, bro, you need to interact more. Like, you know, your comments, because I would just like them. You know, you need to comment.
Oh
back.
yes, that's always been successful for me.
Yeah.
I comment back to everybody, but there's times where you have men who are just nasty, and I'll just like it and let them be. But that's one thing. Even on Facebook, I'm not active on Facebook because I lost my social media. I started
shoot.
this whole professional page for ring announcing, and I got hacked and I lost it. And I had that thing for like 15 years. And so I said, you know what, I'm gonna just stay off social media for a little bit because it's just I don't want to rebuild that. It was tough. So my the ring announcing page is still there, but that's all, and I love it. Now I can see where God was in that, because that was the old Lena. That was the old, you know, person who I used to be. And I did go through last year when me and my daughter had the roughest time in our life. I was reborn again into a whole different villain, I guess you can say, it was my villain era, where I'm not afraid to be mad anymore, or I'm not afraid to be mean anymore. I'm not afraid to stand up for myself. I'm tired of being convenience for you to be inconvenience to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I got to that point where I was just sick of it.
Yeah.
So that was no longer who I was. So it's nice to go. I'll go back there, and it's still there, and that's really good because I can see what I did, and I'm like, oh, I'm so proud of myself. Like I am such a hard worker. Like I can lift myself up. So then I restarted my social media, my Facebook, and it's only fighting accounts. You know what I mean? Like that's one thing I had to do, was learn how to separate my social media accounts. So I have my ring announcing page. So it's like if you're on Facebook, you're gonna know my next event. You're just gonna know. I'm very low key on there.
Yeah.
But the one thing I've always done, and I tell myself, if I can't like heart it, if I can't love it, or you know the comfort heart, if I can't hug it, then I won't like it, because I think that blue is just so cold. You know, that little blue thumbs up.
Yeah.
It's personal. Maybe I'm too deep on it, But if you're gonna get an interaction from me, it's gonna be with love. So if you're gonna see my name, you're gonna see a little red heart next to it, or a little, the
like
hug.
that,
Yeah.
yeah.
And if I can't give it one of those, I'll just let it be. I won't give it a like. I just think that's just too shallow, and especially coming from somebody like me. So I'll let it be. And that's one thing I always do. So if I don't have nothing good, nice to say, I won't say it at all.
It goes back to your alignment with the Lord. Remember, the Lord is love.
Yep.
So you're
Yeah.
gonna want to love it,
Yep.
right? But I like that.
Yeah.
No, I'm new to social media too, so it's
Yeah.
like I'm just kind of building it. As now that I'm kind of like going, I know like talking about like clips, certain things we have to do, and I'm trying to push my podcast.
Yeah.
So like I made a podcast channel. So I run my own now, like my personal.
Yeah.
So sometimes when I do an interview, like off my phone, I just post it.
Yeah.
And I'm lazy to go off the podcast channel. So right now, who I guess you can say some of our team who we're working on, we just kind of
It does take a team.
landed an editor.
Yeah.
And so hopefully
It
he's
does
gonna
take a lot
start
of work.
posting, and then from there you'll see us like flood
Yeah.
the social media scene with just all our clips and our stuff and what we got coming.
Yeah.
So like I said, it's all been a blessing. I'm very excited to bring that to the people, and obviously I'm really excited for to watch this one and then to
Me too.
drop
I
it.
can't wait to see it.
And then like I tell everybody, like I don't know about a part 2 per se.
Sometimes you need it.
No, I'm down for it.
Yeah.
Because like as I get to know you more, like maybe when we do a part 2,
Yeah.
I can kind of go off of when I hear you do your,
Yeah.
what you told me how you do your intro.
Yeah.
And then, like I told you, I really want you to like do the intro for the podcast.
Sure.
Like, I'll get with my team. I'm like, hey, this is what I've been thinking, and then it'll kind of be different. We'll figure it out.
And if you guys ever need me to come on over here and use your mic and do some stuff, dude, I'm totally down for it. I'm so open. I love just being active and this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
This is not a far travel for me. About 45 minutes out. Nothing wrong with that. I would drive all the way up to NorCal just to do ring announcing,
No.
and still come home the same night.
I really appreciate that. No,
I love being active.
We'll work on something, but I think this was like a really good first interview. Do you have anything else that you want to add to end the interview?
I don't think so.
No. Okay.
If anybody has any questions, they know where to find me.
And then not only that, they'll throw in the comments, and then from there, like when we do I do want to do part 2s with everybody.
Yeah.
So like when we do a part 2, but like I said, I'm just kind of trying to get
You
everybody.
gotta have like a little bit of a year. That way you have more to kind of
For sure.
talk about.
No, yeah, exactly. And
But
so
I will be around whenever you guys need me.
what I want to do though is like, so like you said about you don't want to overwork yourself. I do mine in seasons right now. So seasons allows me, like right now, if I would have just been doing them straight, having to drop every Sunday,
Yeah.
it would be hard for me to do like the fights.
Yeah.
Because then it's like I don't have time to really reset. But like
Yeah.
since I'm in between season 1 going into season 2,
Yeah.
I could do them, and then it's still kind of like I'm giving
And have
myself
your
time
content.
for everybody. Yeah. So okay, so
Yeah.
like
Absolutely.
we always finish the podcast with the same Bible verse. So today's verse was from Job 1:21, and the word of God states, "Always be humble, because what God gives, He can also take." Job 1:21. And with that being said, I just want to thank you, Lena, for coming on.
Thank
it was
you
a
for
really
having
great
me.
podcast. Lena Gonzales with an S.
With an S.
All right, and be looking out for her. We might, who knows? I'll talk to Rick, and maybe I'll be part of the Fight for the Fallen 5. But
I'd love to see it.
she's gonna be at the Madonna, right? When their next event's on the August
The
29th.
Madonna,
She'll be out there. If you guys happen to be near Slow, go check her out.
Yep. And then the Sunday after that, or this Sunday, we're gonna have, I believe Tulari's having the fair and Lucha Extreme, so I will be there too.
And she'll be at the fair, guys.
And that's
so
pro wrestling.
there you go. All right. Well, thank you, Lena.
Of course. Thank you for having me.